What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lonnie from FlightSim Gaming. Today we're doing a flight from Lisbon to Madeira with the TAP Air Portugal Airlines. We are in the Fenix A320. This is a real-world flight flown by TAP to Madeira. Call sign up top, TAP 1699. If you guys are interested in following flights, that is the real-world route. Call sign for this route. We are going to be expecting runway 5 in Madeira. We are doing the circle to land approach, or at least we are going to attempt it. I have been practicing it. It's a little tricky. We'll see how the winds play out, but all in all, should be able to get us down on the ground. A little bumpy here, a little windy here, currently in Lisbon. We'll see how that affects the departure. But anyway, without further ado, while I have GSX loading up, let's jump inside the aircraft and let's get things rocking and rolling, shall we? Little laggy here, I don't know what that's about, but anyway, external power is coming on, battery 1s and 2s coming on. APU master switch is on, we'll wait. Start it. Nav lights are coming on, strobe lights coming on, crew supply of oxygen is coming on, ADIRS set to the nav position, emergency exit lights is going to arm, no smoking, and seatbelt lights on and on. Fantastic. Let's come over here. Oh. Come over to the Fenix tab here in the EFB. We're going to go ahead and tap to import from SimBrief. It says we are 1 minute late. Don't know why. We're going to load aircraft instantly. Fantastic. Let's come over to the McDo here. Add to tab AOC menu, flight in it, and we're going to request GSX. A bit of a glitch right now. I don't know why it's not loading the aircraft properly, but that's okay. It'll make us get out of here faster. Init request. Let's go ahead and do that. Today's flight number TAP 1699. Cost index of 18, and we're cruising up to 37,000 feet. Come over to the IRS init. We'll align. Perfect. Come over to the weight page here. We got a zero fuel weight 57.6 and 30.7. 57.6 and 30.7. Block fuel should be 8.3. Block fuel is 8.3. We'll insert that in there. Fantastic. Okay, flight plan. Lisbon departure. We are going off of runway 2. We are on the Gansu 6 November RNAV departure. We'll go ahead and insert that there. We'll have a look at the waypoints momentarily. Come over to Madeira, arrival. We are going to be expecting the RNAV Zulu for 05. That is the circle to approach. And then we are on the, I think it's the Lidri 1 Papa? Lidro 1 Papa. Let's have a look here. Lidro 1 Papa. We'll insert that. Fantastic. All looks good. Come over to the perf tab here. Let's go ahead and put in our V speeds. We are moving a little bit quicker today. Want to get the aircraft up in the air. Flap config. We're going to do a flaps 1 config. We'll sync the weather. QNH of 1020. And let's get up to 37,000 feet. If I recall, we don't have any speed or altitude restrictions, but we will double check once we load up the aircraft. 153, 153, 154. Transal 4000 already plugged in there. Flaps 1 of a down 0.0. Flex to temp 68. It's funny, I always put in the trim setting and I never actually manually set the trim. We'll make sure we do that. Let's be responsible pilots, ladies and gents. I don't want to make y'all unhappy with how I do things. I'm not a real-world pilot. I'm a real-world mechanic, not a real-world pilot. So, all is looking well. We already have fuel on board. Let's go ahead and turn the fuel pumps on. And we still have 5 minutes on that bad boy. That's really about it. So, Come over to Navigraph here. Have a look at our departure here. Transalp 4000 says it right there. And we are going on the Gansu departure here. So, Gansu 6 November. Climb straight ahead to at or above 2000. Turn right to Papa Tango 416. Then to Manur Gansu. Initial climb is 6,000 feet. We don't have any speed or altitude restraints. That's really about it. Come over to the weather tab here. We'll look at this. Winds are 340 at 11. It's going to be a sort of a headwind / crosswind. A few clouds at 4,000. Temperature 27. Altimeter 1020. GSX sounds like it's already done. That was the quickest GSX thing I've ever seen in my life. APU bleed coming on, so we can get rid of some equipment. We'll go ahead and close all that up. Still waiting for IRS to align. It's going to take another couple minutes. While I'm here, I'm going to have a quick look at the weather into Madeira. I'm hoping we're going to get the circle to land approach. I don't see why we wouldn't. Worst case, we'll just make it happen. Let's just do that. And everybody wants to see the circle to land. Hopefully I don't butcher it. I have been practicing the flight, and so far so good. I can get her down pretty good. Winds are 020 at 10. That's not terrible. We can make it work. Company message. We will make it work. I don't think I got any discons. Nope. There's our altitude restraints that we just seen there for our approach. First time flying out of Lisbon here. I've never flown out of this airport. I forgot who the devs are. I'll link the scenery description down below. The Madeira scenery is it's not the handcrafted Asobo one. It is a payware version. I see a lot of people using that one over the Asobo one. So we'll go ahead with that. And, I mean, the Asobo one's still good, but... You know, I think I got the payware one on a sales. So, avionics update 2 coming out, and we are going to be hopping in the 787. I'll be doing the very first long haul on this channel, and we are going to be flying with Saudia. And I know we're going to be flying to Jeddah. I just don't know where we're coming from yet, whether it may be from Singapore or some other parts of the world, but we are going to be flying into Jeddah in the 787. I can't wait for that. Don't know when that video is going to launch. Probably, I would say, maybe a week or two after the release of the avionics update. I'll make sure that I get the video out before I go on my vacation, but I definitely want to give that one a go and see how it flies. I've been seeing a lot of good feedback with it. Hopefully they kind of worked out a lot of its kinks and makes it sort of flyable. I notice every time Asobo puts out a update for the ATR, which a new one has just come out, they always break it. Either they use like an old mapping of the old aircraft, because I see now that it rotates on its own. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but hopefully they don't break the 787. I'll have to do some circuits in it to get myself sort of used to it. I have flown it before, but I haven't. I've flown like the basic version of it, so this aircraft does fly differently. But definitely going to get into it. Finally going to get some decent long haulers. I'm excited for that. Anyway, everything's up. Come over to GSX. We're going to go ahead and prepare for pushback. We are at gate 125. For those who follow flights, this is where the aircraft last departed from. A lot of my flights I try to get off of radar 24, and I generally pick the last flight flown prior to the video being released. That's sort of how I depict where I'm flying to and from, and what gates and stands I'm coming to and from. I also want to note we did not, our last giveaway has not been claimed. So, you know, I'm not sure how we're going to be doing these giveaways. I'm finding it a little bit difficult to get in contact with the winners. I know it'll be a little bit easier once we start streaming and everything's kind of live in the moment. And the winners would just be picked from whoever's in the chat. That's very easy to do. When you're doing a video and you're trying to do a giveaway and you're trying to generate a comment to pick a winner, sometimes people don't see the video right away, and I know I say you got to claim the gift voucher within 24 hours of the video being released. I'm just wondering if maybe I shouldn't do that, if I should just wait for them to respond. You guys let me know down below if that's what I should do, if you think that's what's fair. But I still have this this gift voucher up for grabs. You know, it's Salo Barrios wants to claim it. Reach out to me, and we'll get you that gift voucher. If not, comment down below as to what we should do. It's been about 5 days since the video's been released, so I want to give it out to one lucky winner. But yeah, that's kind of what's happening. We are above 300 subs on the channel. That's huge for me. Don't know when the next milestone will be. We'll probably say about 5. The way the channel's kind of moving, we'll probably say at about 500 subs we'll do something else. Do another giveaway. Most importantly, we got to make sure that these giveaways get claimed. So we are successful with the last 3. We had to re-roll the 3rd giveaway, and that one got claimed right away. But the 4th one, we're having a little bit of issues, so let me know down below what you want me to do, and I'll listen to you guys. And if you have not yet, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. I always state the majority of the viewership is not subbed to the channel. So let's get those subs up so we can do a lot more giveaways. Engine number 1 is spooling up. A little bit laggy at the moment. That's okay.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine.
2 good engines. Engine start switch is coming off. Come back up top here. APU bleed coming off. Master switch coming off. We're going to go and throw the wing lights on. Taxi lights. We're going to go ahead auto brake max. Flaps 1 for departure. And I think my flap settings was already set. I do apologize for that. That wasn't supposed to happen. Ground spoilers are going to be armed. Beautiful scenery here. I think it's MK Studios. I could be wrong. Please don't get upset if it's not by who I just said. But anyway, scenery description will be down below. A lot of good scenery coming out from Microsoft Flight Sim at the moment. I just hope that they don't stop developing the simulator. I know they got the MSFS 24 coming out. I personally am not going to purchase it. Too far invested in this sim. Let's see what Asobo does and what Microsoft does, but hopefully they continue to develop this simulator. I know it's a simulator, and there's still a lot of things that need to be fixed in it. It's not perfect, but I just hope that it's not forgotten about. I hope the simulator stays up and running for about, you know, maybe another 5 to 10 years would be pretty cool, but The simulator just has so much potential. But no, I definitely am not going to purchase MSFS 24. I don't see the need to. Bypass pin is in her hand. She's waving. We're going to wait for GSX to say good things to us. And there we go. So let's have a look at our taxi charts here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hang a left onto a Golf 2. And then we're going to go ahead and make a left onto Uniform 2. And then we're going to hold short of, I think it says November 2 there, or November 3. And we'll get onto the runway. Easy taxi. And parking brake is released. Takeoff config is no blue. Let's go. Parking brake was on. Sorry. Don't forget, everybody, if you're enjoying the content, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you have not. I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Channel's moving up in an upwards trend. I'm very, very excited about that. I wish I could put out, you know, content more frequently for you guys. I'm hoping to have a schedule, at least for the video uploads, sometime soon. My aim is for Mondays and Thursdays for a video upload. That's what I would like to do. I know I've talked about it before and I haven't really gotten to that, but that's the plan. That's the plan, at least. As I said, I'm going away for a couple weeks in July, so I'll be more focused with providing uploads once we get back from our vacation. And I'm aiming, like I said, Mondays and Thursdays, I should have a schedule for video uploads. I had a viewer ask me about, will I do a flight on FlightSim? Yes, definitely. I have used FlightSim. I think I have about 150 or 200 hours flown on it. So I do know how to use it. Depending on the time of day, the time and day that I'm flying, controllers are not usually online. Hence why I usually just fly offline. But definitely we'll get some FlightSim flights up. Maybe we'll do some. FlightSim has like what do you call them? Events. I participate in some events from time to time. Or I was doing it prior to, I guess, providing content. But we'll definitely get some FlightSim flights up. It's always cool to fly on FlightSim. And I find it, flying in North America can be a bit of a pain in the ass sometimes. No offense, you know, if you're a controller and you're listening to one of my videos. But they're not the friendliest of people in North America. When you're flying in Europe, whether it's in the UK, I know flying in Germany, those controllers over there are super patient, especially for newcomers. Super patient compared to North America. But we'll get to it. Don't know when, don't have a date set in stone for it, but we'll definitely get to it. Kind of show you guys how to do it. If you guys don't fly on FlightSim already, it's not that difficult. You know, I know the thing with FlightSim is they kind of want you to almost not really be perfect, but they want you to know how to fly on the network prior to joining the network. But my thing is, if you've never flown on the network, then how are you going to know to fly on the net? Like, how are you going to know to fly on the network, right? So I can see why sometimes controllers get frustrated with a lot of new people. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's still a simulator. You know? How else do you expect to get good at something if you're not actively on it? right? Trying, you know, and making mistakes. I've made tons of mistakes on VATSIM. Tons of mistakes. You know, mistakes from... The most difficult part of VATSIM is remembering everything that is being said to you and then applying it to the aircraft. It's sort of the hardest part, especially when you're receiving your clearance. Always have a, you know, pen and paper handy. I use Notepad on my computer and I just kind of type in my information from there. But I've made plenty of mistakes. You know, one big thing for me is not following taxiing routings properly. Sometimes I get a little mixed up, but I'm not perfect. Controllers aren't perfect either. Plenty of times I've flown into, you know, I'm flying within an airspace and I'm about to blow through my top of descent and I get forgotten about. You know, things happen. Anyway, let's get to flying. A little bit of a gusty departure here. We'll try to maintain center line. This runway looks like it's been freshly paved and painted. I like it. Throttle's going up to 50%. Flex 68 SRS Auto Blue is set. And I think the winds are going to be coming from the left, and I don't know why the aircraft would be blowing the opposite direction. I can feel a lot of left rudder input. Lot of left rudder input. I don't know why. V1. And rotate. Positive rate of climb. Gear going up. Got blown all over the place there. Holy smoke. We're up. We're good. We're flying. Having issues with my throttle there. There we go. Climb is set. We'll pitch down. Pick up some speed. We'll go ahead. Flaps clean. And we'll start our right-hand turn. Very, very bumpy here. Holy smoke. Follow flight directors. Extremely bumpy. Standard pressure is set. And autopilot is coming on. Let's clear some lights here. There we go. Not a bad departure. A lot of rudder input. I don't know why. There's the airport there. I don't know if it's typically bumpy coming out of Lisbon, but not super happy with that one. That's okay. We're airborne. And we're getting her up top. Flight's about an hour and a half long, so we should get up to cruise probably within the next 10 minutes or so, as we are approaching 9,000 feet. Landing lights, wing lights are coming off. Keep the seatbelt lights. Actually, we could take the seatbelt lights off. Beautiful Portugal down below. Majority of this flight is above water, so we're not going to get much scenery, but it is what it is. Coming up on 12,000 now. I'm going to go ahead and continue to fly this aircraft up to 37,000 feet, and I will catch y'all on the descent into Madeira. Can't wait for this one. Should be spicy, ladies and gents. Stick around. Peace! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the video. We are currently on the descent into Madeira, and we are expecting the runway 05 approach. We are doing the circle to land approach in the A320, and we have selected the RNAV Zulu runway 05 approach, and kind of this is how it looks. We're going to be coming from up here. We're going to hit Pilum, and then we're going to follow this path all the way into the runway. We need to be at 2,000. There are some speed and altitude restraints here, as well as here and here. We are on the Lidro 1 Papa RNAV arrival as well. For whatever reason, setting up the approach in the aircraft, I had to manually add some constraints, some speed and altitude constraints in there. We'll go ahead and show you that in a minute. But anyways, here's the weather information here. The winds are 020 at 12. So we're going to have a little bit of a head/crosswind at 12 knots, though. We'll see how that plays out landing into Madeira. It's not going to be fun, I'll tell you that. Hopefully I don't butcher that. Few clouds at 1500. It's 24 degrees. Altimeter is 1022. We're descending out to 1,000 feet right now. We have some constraints, so the aircraft is going to do its thing. But once we passed Pilum, we didn't have some waypoints set up in here for the RNAV Zulu 05 approach. I had to add a couple things in here. As you can see, the speed constraints I had to change, and hopefully the aircraft will meet or exceed those constraints. We'll see what happens. I don't know. That's kind of what we have going on here. If we come over to the perf tab and then we come over to the approach sort of page here where we had to put in our destination information, we already have our QNH set, temperature with the winds. Transalt is 5,000 at Madeira, and we have a minimums of 520 feet. Just coming up to 16,000 feet here. Looks like the VNAV is following nice. The island is over here. Should be good. Looks like our constraints have been set. Got to be above 4,000, above 3,000 here. I don't know where the aircraft is going to be, but hopefully it's not going to get too crazy on the approach. Should be a nice descent in. And like I said, I hope I don't butcher it. The key to this approach is when you set up for the RNAV Zulu approach for the runway 5, your flight directors will sort of help guide you. I find that the flight directors do some weird things in this aircraft, so you have to look at some things outside, look at some obstacles outside to determine when you're going to start your final. But you want to make sure that you know, you're watching the poppies as you're making your turn onto final, and you want to set it yourself as best as you can. If you don't follow that, it's going to be a real difficult approach. I like to get stable, super stable for the approach. I don't want to sort of be correcting myself, you know, once I get lined up to the runway. On my practice flights, I haven't really had that issue, but the winds weren't at 12 knots. So I did have some crosswind landings, but the winds weren't at 12 knots. Winds might have been at 5 or 6 knots. So we'll see what happens. Fun little approach. One of the hardest approaches for sure. I think out there, this will sort of add to, you know, as far as what I bring onto my channel. We did the jungle approach down in Dominica, and there is no charts for that, so I kind of had to wing that one. But at least this one here, I have charts, which is always super helpful on the approach. Beautiful day here. We are using live weather, and we are currently live time. Sort of mid-afternoon here in Madeira, but at least the weather is nice. I don't know if the aircraft lands in poor conditions. They might grab the other runway, I'm not sure, but I can't suspect with the low approach, the low altitude approach here by the mountains and stuff, that they'll actually do this approach in poor conditions. But it is fun. Coming up on 10,000 feet now. Speed should be dwindling back momentarily. We got to be at 230 here, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we'll bring it back to 230. (10,000 feet). Landing lights, wing lights coming on. And because I don't know if it's going to actually follow the constraints, we'll kind of just set it ourselves here. We do have an auto brake set for low. We don't need medium auto brakes for this landing. There's enough runway. We'll have to sort of, hopefully we can exit off relatively early. If not, we'll just have to backtrack on the runway. It's not a big deal. But airport directly in front of us here. If I'm not mistaken, that is the airport. Speed still not coming back, so we'll go ahead and bring out the auto brakes. And it looks like the constraints are following, so we'll actually just leave it in managed speed for now. But we'll get the speed back. Still descending beautifully. We do have a transalt at 5,000. Speed air at Pelham. I understand that we were getting that message, but you know, didn't populate the actual speed constraint. We need to be at 230 according to the charts. So all good. And I think we need to be at 195 here. So what we can start doing is, I'll go ahead and, because we're 10 miles out, I'll activate the approach phase. And you can see we have our little VNAV thing happening there. Not sure where the aircraft's going to slow down. We'll get her down to 190. 7.5 miles out. Airport off to our right there. So I think it's 195 max and then 165 here. And then we can go ahead and configure for the approach. 1022, we're going to go ahead flaps 1. See, the wind is kind of doing some weird things there. We are above the VNAV, but we'll get it brought back down. Going to be at 165 at this waypoint. Aircraft should start slowing down.
2,500.
Looks like aircraft is slowing down now, so I don't need to worry. Go ahead, flaps 2. And we'll keep the speed out 165. Once we start our turn, we'll go ahead gears down and then flap full, and we'll go back to managed speed. Gear coming down, and we'll go ahead flaps full. Come up top here, and we'll turn the rest of our lights on. Okay, we got gear down 3 green, flaps are set, auto brake is set. Come up top, we'll ding the cabin. We'll turn those off. We don't need them. And ground spoilers are armed. Fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and take the aircraft. It's my aircraft. And let's see what I can do here. I'm not really going to follow the flight directors. I don't see that it's super accurate. And you'll see now that it'll pull in. I kind of want to be on this curve here. It's where I want the aircraft positioned, kind of on this curve.
1,000.
1,000 check. Coming out down at about 700 feet per minute. That's good. And we'll start turning in. And the pappies are showing 2 white, 2 red. It's kind of where we want to be. It's windy.
100 above.
Check. 1 white, 3 red.
Minimum.
Continue. We don't ever want to overshoot this approach, because you don't have a chance to get back. 400 check. Let's get back up on the pappies here. Let's get stable for the approach. Very gusty.
$50, $40, $30, $20, retard. 10, 5.
Nose down gently, and reverses her out. $70 knots. Ladies and gents, welcome to Madeira. Not a bad approach. Got a little windy there. You know, it gets very turbulent once you start hitting the ground. So, you know, that's as good as I can do. I don't know what the feet per minute is yet, but very happy with that approach, considering, you know, all in all. And what we're going to do here is we're going to spin around. Very tricky approach. Very tricky approach. We're going to backtrack. Come up top. APU coming on. Let's see if GSX works here. So, gate. We want to pick... we'll go gate 7. Sure. Again, this is not the Asobo handcrafted. This is the... it's a pay-where airport. Scenery description will be down below. And we're going to exit off over here to the left. And I'll go ahead, clean up the flaps. Disarm the ground spoilers. Landing lights, runway turns off, wing lights, and taxi lights. Wing lights off, taxi lights are on. Like I said before in my previous videos, if you guys ever want to practice approaches, FSI panel is a great tool to have. You can buy a standard version, or you can buy, I believe it's like the ultimate version or the advanced version. One comes with training scenarios, one is just a regular version. You got to update the nav database in order to have accurate arrivals and accurate stars for your approach. And you can just spawn onto the runway, activate the FSI panel, and you can start practicing approaches. You know, I think it's a very handy tool. Not everybody wants to sort of do, you know, full flights to perfect their craft and their landings. FSI panel definitely is something I highly recommend. For those like me who's only been simming for a few years, that's not, you know, I don't think I'm that great. There's definitely really good really good pilots out there, simulator pilots. But yeah, definitely a good tool to have. We're looking for A7. Start slowing her down here. Taxi lights can come off. A7, I believe, is this one here, or maybe the next one. A8. There's A7 here. We got to make sure we slow this right down. And let's get her in. As you guys know, I'm not the greatest at parking. So let's see what we get. Parker brake coming on. APU bleed is on. We'll go ahead and kill engines 1, engines 2. Seatbelt lights are coming off. Fuel pumps coming off. And let's request deboarding. Not bad. Not too shabby. Happy with that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm very happy with that. Anyways, that concludes this flight here. Next flight, we're going to be going from Barcelona to Bristol, United Kingdom. That should be a fun flight. This Bristol airport apparently is one of the top-notch payware sceneries I have seen, so it's relatively expensive too. You can get it on Orbex. I think it's about 30 Australian dollars or so. So I'm paying about 28 CAD for it. I'm excited for that flight. We're going to be, I believe, with back in the PMDG 737. We're going to be with Ryanair on that flight. Should be good. I'm excited for that. And then after that, I believe we're back in North America, or we might jump into the 787. We'll see how things go. But anyway, want to thank everybody for coming out and spending the time and flying with me today. I greatly appreciate that. Hope you guys enjoyed that approach. And I'll catch y'all in the next video. Catch y'all in a bit. Peace.